You have clicked on looking ahead. That's very good because this is a very, very good topic. I'm not the fastest at looking ahead, but I am getting faster. And it's more of an understanding that you have to apply afterwards. But you have to understand how it works and how to apply it properly at first. Now I'm going to try to explain in my best way how to apply it properly. However, if you're like me, you're going to understand it, but you're still going to apply it improperly because you're thinking about it a little too much at the time. So if you're new to looking ahead, and this is the first that you've ever heard about it, or even just the first time you've ever heard it explained, basically what looking ahead is you are consciously in your mind further ahead in solving the cube than you physically are. What that means is, say you have an F2L pair that you see, and you've become pretty quick at doing F2L now, and you know how to match them up, and you're watching to make sure you're doing it right. Well, looking ahead is at the point where you've done the case so many times that you don't have to watch it anymore. You know, you could see them and you know what orientation the cube is by looking at the centers. So you see them, you know how to match it up, you know how to swing it around and insert it into the slot that it needs to go into. And you could probably do it blindfolded. Now, at this point, your conscious mind has become unconscious to knowing how to do it. You know, you don't have to think about it anymore. You are not aware that you have learned it anymore. You just do it. It seems very, very obvious to you. So when your mind gets to that point with doing F2L, it's going to want to learn how to do more stuff. So it's going to get ahead of you, basically. And because you're not looking at these pieces anymore, well, you're looking at other pieces, and it's just going to happen over time. If you get faster and faster at F2L without even practicing looking ahead, eventually you're going to start looking ahead because your mind is going to wander. You're going to get bored, and your mind doesn't like to be bored, especially if you're a cuber. You know, you're just you're thinking all the time. And as soon as your mind starts to settle, it's going to start looking for other things to do. And so in an F2L sense, when you see a case and you instantly know how to put it in, your mind is already going to be looking otherwhere on the cube. And so what happens is you see your case, you know how to put it in, and your mind gets bored, so it looks. And what it looks for is another corner and another edge that needs to be paired up. However, you don't know how it's going to be paired up yet because you don't know how the cube is going to look after you've inserted the two that you've already started. So what you have to do is track them around the cube. This is a lot more difficult than it sounds, to be honest. So as you're moving these two and you're matching them up, you are keeping track of two pieces. Now, you're going to get to a point where you know how to match them up, but in doing that, in tracking these pieces, you're going to screw up matching these up because at first you don't know how to think about that many things. There's actually three things you're going to think about is putting these in the slot, and because you were unconscious to that, you just know how to do it. You don't really have to think about that. However, you're going to disturb that unconscious thought problem by consciously finding and tracking the other two, because not only are you looking for the colors, and it's not just that too, you're not looking for specific colors, you just happen to glimpse another corner. And since you glimpse that one and you're moving these other two around the cube, you're trying to find the other one. So you're looking for color while you're tracking something already, while you're moving the cube around to do this. So there's a lot of things that come into play when you start looking ahead. So don't think that just because you can unconsciously put some pair into a slot that you're going to instantly become better at looking ahead. You're probably going to end up slowing down quite a bit, because the conscious thought pattern of tracking the other two and finding colors is going to disturb your unconscious thought pattern for inserting this pair into its slot. So you're going to become slower. Now, if you're like me, then you've become pretty fast at knowing how to insert and match up F2L pairs. And because you want to be as fast as you can, you do it as fast as you can. But you cannot track other pieces around the cube while you're doing it that fast yet. I always put the yet in there. You know, there's always room for improvement. So if you are learning how to track pieces around the cube, then you should match up your pair so slowly that you still keep track of your next pieces. So I'll give the cube a little bit of a scramble here, and I'll show you what I mean by this. All right, so I've got my scramble, and I can already see that this pair here can be matched up. And this is very easy because this is already lined up to be inserted like that. And this one can just go there, which means I can just put it there and insert it. So that is an extremely easy thing to solve. And I am not going to pay attention that I saw this one, or this one. Now I see this one because when I'm solving really, really fast, I don't have time to glimpse 4 pieces and remember where they are. I'm going to probably glimpse 1 or 2, and I'm going to do it as fast as I can. So I'm going to try to glimpse pieces as I do this. In fact, I'm going to do this as fast as I usually would, but I'm going to try to track pieces around the cube, and we'll see how far I get. Okay, so immediately I saw this one, and it just happens that this one is next to it. So I do know how to insert that, and I saw that this one is here, and now I see that there's an orange edge here, and there's an orange edge here. But I inserted this so fast that I didn't have time to do this, which kind of defeats the purpose of looking ahead. Sure, I know that this one is here, but now I've got to do a cube rotation and take a look. Another thing I can do is to just start turning the top layer to look around too. And I do see that it is there. But the goal is to automatically know where these pieces are while I'm doing this. And if I am inserting this so fast that I am not able to glimpse or track these pieces, I need to actually slow down. So if you are starting to learn how to look ahead and you aren't able to track your pieces, slow down. I know it sounds kind of pointless. I'm a speed cuber. I want to go really fast, but you can still go fast, but sometimes practice going slow. It will help you in time. So when I found that, I was at a 30-second average for a really long time, and then all of a sudden I got faster, it's because I stopped and I thought about this. I really had to understand the concept of looking ahead, and it was just something I did because I was so bored with just my F2L pairing that I saw, I wanted to get faster, and my mind automatically went there. I was like, well, why don't you look at other pieces? This is what looking ahead is, because I've watched so many tutorials online about looking ahead, and people just go, oh, okay, well, I've got this, and I'm going to insert it into here. But while I did that, I noticed this and that piece, so I can, put them in, and it's like, okay, well, that doesn't really explain to me how to look ahead. So I'm hoping that this one will help you understand how to look ahead and doing it properly. So let's give this another scramble. And let us get the cross. Whoop, not so fast there. Right away, as I'm doing the cross, I knew that this last one was just a flick over. And while I was doing that, I was looking for my first pair. So I see it right here. And again, that's a very easy case. So as I'm going to do this, I'm going to look for my next pair. And I see that this one is here already. I saw that, the red and the blue. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go over. I thought that might have been the red, the blue, and it's not. So I see that the red and the blue was here. It just happened to come into view. So now as I insert these, I'm looking to where these go, and they're going to stay right where they are. However, now I also see this, which is a very extremely awesome case. So I'm going to choose to use this. Why? Because it's right in front of my face. These are still here. I know that. So I'm going to track these around the cube while I'm positioning these. And I'm going to do it slowly because I cannot do this fast and I can't do it fast and keep track of these pieces. It will defeat the whole purpose of practicing. So here we go. I'm going to go over. So now I know that pieces are here and here. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to insert like this. So now I know that the pieces are here. So I already see that this one is here. So I'm going to track this while I consciously put these in. I can't unconsciously put these in yet because I'm just not that fast. I have no problem in admitting that. you have to, if you're going to practice, you have to let go of the ego a little bit, because your ego is going to want to say, go faster, you can do it, you've been doing it forever. But your mind wants to learn something new, but your ego is telling you, you know what, just stick with what you're doing because it's fast and it's exciting. But you can always go back and do fast, exciting stuff after you've practiced. So I'm going to track this one around, and I haven't spotted the corner for it yet, but I'm hoping that while I'm doing this, I will spot the corner. So it's still here. I'm going to go over here, and there's the corner here. So there's the corner, and now these are matched up in the back. So I've done it so slow that I can track them. Now, it may look a little bit boring, and it is a little bit, but trust me, you'll get faster and you'll start having a lot more fun. So one thing is, I hope that this video has shown you how to understand it and how to apply it. It just takes a lot of practice. So grab your cube, experiment with it, and just slow down a little bit, and you will get faster over time. I'm still in a really bad habit of solving them as fast as I can, and a lot of the time you have to actually push that. When you're doing it so slow that you're able to track those pieces around, do your F2L a little bit faster and see if you can start tracking those pieces again and again, and slowly over time you will get faster. Looking ahead is a major process. It's how you're going to get super fast, and I've seen people only turn the cube this fast and do it in 10 seconds because they are looking ahead. They don't have to stop, because if you do an F2L pair and you insert it into its slot and then you spend 2 seconds finding other pieces, then you got to do a cube rotation. If you do that and you're spending 2 to 3 seconds looking for each F2L pair, and there's 4 of them, well, that's like 8 to 12 seconds that you're adding onto your time. That is a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot while you're doing it, but say you have a 30-second average, and then all of a sudden you do your looking ahead and you don't stop moving your hands, well, you've just shed 8 to 12 seconds off or more. So, then you're a sub 20 average. And if you can start practicing that, and a lot of the time you don't quite get it, but then you practice it enough and then you get it and it's super fast. Well, that is when all of a sudden you go from your 30-second average to 25 overnight, and you're like, how did that happen? Well, that's because your conscious mind stopped thinking about it, because it's become so easy that you're unconsciously doing it now. And guess what happens then? Now your conscious mind is going to start thinking about other things, and you're going to get faster and faster and faster. So if you're not as fast as you'd like to be right now, and you're pretty good at F2L, I highly recommend practicing these techniques to being able to look ahead a lot faster. And you're going to find you're a little bit slower at first, but then give yourself a little bit of time and you'll become a lot faster. If you have any questions about looking ahead, please leave a comment below. I really hope that there won't be questions and more just like, oh, thanks for this, because I hope that I have covered the topics enough that you wouldn't need any questions. So you can now click anywhere on the page and you'll be directed back to the F2L homepage.